That was like just in the nick of time.
Just barely. I don't know. It took 3 minutes for my computer to start. I don't know if it was doing an update or what, but here we are. It worked.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I can see you today.
I know. I'm not in witness protection anymore. My hair go all over the place too. Okay, there we go. Good enough. We're gonna roll with it, right?
You look handsome.
Thank
We're
you.
already live.
Perfect. Love it.
Okay, so today we're talking about timing for a first-time home buyer.
Yes.
And I thought that this was a good time. And you're gonna have to excuse, it's garbage day, and so if you hear the beeping, it's the garbage trucks. And I live in a townhome community, so there's like a million to pick up. So
love it. All over the place.
Yeah, the beep beep beeps. Okay, so first-time home buyers and timing. Okay, so pretend I am a first-time home buyer and I say, Henry, I want to buy a home. When should I do that? What would you say?
Well, it's really a case-by-case scenario, right? And it all depends on kind of financially what your goal is now, where you're at now, and where you want to be in the future. And, some first-time home buyers have the luxury of, parents helping them, some with down payment or other things like that. But as far as, from a market standpoint, it's smart to give in as soon as you can and start building that equity, right? Even if the market is crazy right now, if you have a flexible current living situation or you're able to not be rushed, anything like that, it's smart to, if you have the financial means, to start looking for a home now, just so you can get in and start building that equity. So 3 years down the road, you have X amount saved up in a home, in your home via equity, as opposed to continuing to rent for those 3 years. So really what we do when we meet with our first time home buyers, we sit and we talk about the whole process, right? The home buying process as a whole. And then we talk a little bit about financially, what does it take to buy a house, down payments, monthly payments, utilities, stuff like that. And then we get our buyers in touch with great lenders so that they can really sit down there and see, okay, am I ready to do this yet? Or if I'm a year or 6 months away, what do I need to be doing in the meantime to be more prepared at that time?
Do you ever advise people like a time frame? Like if you're thinking about this, plan for like next year, and then here's some resources in the meantime? Or how do you coach maybe a first-time home buyer upon meeting them?
Again, it all depends. So with sometimes, like when we're in the middle of a crazy spring market, sometimes it's smart to maybe wait until things cool off a little bit, August, September sometime. A lot of times people won't be ready based on their living situation. So if they just signed a year-long lease and they can't really easily break that lease, then, maybe they're going to be looking next spring. But we'll still meet with them and we still coach them through the process. We still, give them documents, blank purchase agreements, so that they can reference those and start to get familiar with those. And we give them, set them up on MLS search and start having them just explore areas that they're interested in. And then we still do get them in touch with the lender too, just so that they can start seeing financially, here's where I am now. Maybe here's where I want to be or where I need to be in a year to buy the house. And what steps do I need to take to get there?
Yeah, I always ask if their parents own a home too, because I find that sometimes, we come across these people that are first generation homeowners, or maybe they're removed, maybe their grandparents own, but their parents don't. And so they don't have that first hand experience with home ownership. So I do have a tendency to go a little psychological with them as well, to see exactly, if they're ready. I also, there's a lot of home ownership classes that are really great for first-time home buyers. And I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully it'll work, because I don't want to necessarily scare them, but a lot of people don't think about maybe some of the, here we go, search workshops. They don't think of the cost of owning a home or even just buying a home. I mean, in Minnesota, you're going to need a lawnmower and a snow blower. And, if something breaks down, what the cost of that is, having what happens if you lose your job, a ladder for changing light bulbs, random things that you actually like, cleaning gutters, all kinds of stuff. So I love to get my home buyers through one of these workshops, even if they're not doing down payment assistance, because I think it's really important that they take the entire mindset and perspective into it. Because I don't want them to get into like a house poor situation.
Yep.
So here is the Minnesota Homeownership Center, and I'm going to add this to the comments so you guys can see it. I have to scroll here though. So you guys can see they're all over Minnesota. There's some, I think like if you live in the northern area here, you actually have to drive a little bit, but there's also online classes that people do. I'm an in-person kind of a person too, because I think that I benefit from other people's questions, like and the way other people think and ask questions. So it's nice to be able to sit in a class and hear maybe stories and other firsthand knowledge. So let me just add this here. What kind of education do you do for your clients, like if they're first generational homeowners, Henry?
So pre-COVID, we used to do first-time homebuyer classes a lot, once a month, once every other month. So we would have myself as a realtor, a lender, we have an insurance agent there too, and we would just meet at a library, we'd meet somewhere, and again, we go over the process. But that was a really good spot for people to just get a bunch of knowledge from professionals in the industry and get questions answered from them. So obviously we did all that. And then other than that, the knowledge and the education really just comes as we're meeting, just educating them on the process, educating them on, like you said, after the process, right? Now you've bought the house, now it's your house. You have to make sure you're keeping up on these things, paying the utilities, doing all that. And then obviously as a first-time home buyer, all first-time home buyers have a ton of questions, right? So being there as a resource to answer their questions up front during the process and beyond is really critical as well.
Yeah. So I know that a lot of people are writing offers nowadays that are, not including inspections. Can I get your input on something like that, or can I get your knowledge on that subject?
Yeah. It's risky, right? No doubt, especially for her first. I mean, we never recommend it, right? We always recommend you're making a big purchase, no matter what house you're buying. It's always smart to have that inspection, especially for first-time home buyers who haven't owned their own home before and experienced some of the things that can come up unexpectedly. It's really important for them to get that professional insight on what is going on in the home that they're about to buy. Even if they're not going to be able to make any requests, or even if they're just going to have to take what's there and what's available, it's still a really, really good idea to at least have someone in there to say, hey, you're going to need to keep an eye on these, or you're going to have to keep maintenance on this over the next couple of years, or you need to get some more info on this. Home inspections are crucial to just gaining insight on what am I buying into in this $300,000 purchase, and what surprises might already be there, or what are some things that might come up in the next 1 to 5 years that I need to be ready for. So for some home buyers especially, we strongly encourage getting that home inspection because they need to know what they're buying into.
Absolutely. I have met some homeowners that they will blame the previous homeowners for problems, even though they've owned the home for several years now. And I always tell people that once you buy a home, it's yours. Like these are your problems, not somebody else's problems. So you have to take responsibility for them. I always encourage the recognition that this home is a relationship. And I know you've heard me use this analogy before, but the person that you're in a relationship is like the age of the home. So if you're buying a home that's like 1969, right? That's what, 50 some years old now? Wait, 59, 60 years old? I can't do math. Why can't I do math?
2 years old.
Thank you. It's going to start needing, like, imagine if it's a person, they might need reading glasses. They might need bifocals, like they're going to start needing some attention more so than they would if they were, a 20-year-old house. So, and even 20-year-olds, they have their own unique problems as well. So it's important that we recognize that it is actually like a relationship, and we can personify the home and in some ways. So you're buying a house in St. Paul and it's over 100 years old, and the foundation is limestone, predates the technology of like cinder blocks, that you're going to have some seepage in the basement. I mean, anybody who's ever visited a nursing home knows that sometimes you have seepage in a basement.
Very true.
Okay, so I enjoy working with first-time home buyers. What about you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, being in my age group, most of my friends and clients are first-time home buyers. So I just enjoy the excitement of the process for them. The questions they have are very, not naive, but just very, they're just exciting questions, right? It's like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Help me. And so I enjoyed that. And just the whole process of, helping them find that first home. A lot of them, it's, sometimes it's a young couple, just married or just engaged. So they're first-time home buyers are some of my favorites to work with as well.
Tell me a story about working with a first-time home buyer that was truly satisfying for you.
You put me on the spot now. Let's see. Let's dig back and think. I guess so. One of them, I was helping a friend of mine. They were buying a house in St. Paul. Again, first-time home buyer. They were a young couple, just married, had all the questions, didn't know much of anything. Got the home, of course, had the inspection, and found out the sewer line was completely busted. The house was just remodeled, so it was pretty much a brand new house, beautiful on the inside, but the sewer line needed a full replacement, which was going to be like a $15,000 project. The seller was representing themselves, which on the flip side, I never necessarily recommend doing that. We were able to get the seller to completely replace the whole thing before closing, have Roto-Rooter or somebody come out. So the buyer's got a brand new sewer line, didn't have to pay anything. Seller took care of it, wound up being more than the seller estimated. But that's on them again, instead of being on the buyers. So just the excitement and thrill that they had at closing, knowing what the seller wound up paying, and knowing that, now not only is the interior of the house perfect, but the sewer line is perfect as well. That one was pretty satisfying.
Wow, that could have been a really intense, jaw-dropping moment for them if they hadn't had that inspection, which is like what we say, we recommend getting the home inspected. And there are some cities that we know have more issues than others with sewer problems. So, it's great that they were able to be represented by you. And I mean, if we're sale by owner, they could have found it, some random place and then been unrepresented and fallen into a trap.
Yeah, I don't, I don't think the seller actually knew, but who knows, right? So that's one where that's another good example. Get that home inspection too, right? Because that would have been a $15,000 issue they would have been stuck with probably pretty quickly after closing. When they start, showering and using the bathroom and using the sewer line, it's going to back up pretty quickly when it's crushed. So.
Oh, that's so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so I I was thinking back to mine, and there's so many. I've done some really intense home buying situations, and I cannot get over how each one is so different and so unique. Even like there was one, pre-COVID where she just couldn't afford her house anymore. And she even got like a really great deal, and she just had to get out from underneath it. And she had fallen and broken her neck. And we needed to find her a new place so she could get some care. And just being able to find a first-time home buyer that was willing to take on this home that needed some love and some care, and being able to find somebody who had construction background, because that's it too, is sometimes first-time home buyers, they're not so naive. Maybe they come from a family of, general contractors and things like that. So, I love the getting to know you process of first-time home buyers. And I spend so much time trying to get to understand them as a person that once the process is all done and over with, I get really sad because I feel like I'll never get to talk to them ever again, which I do. I call them.
Yeah, right. You always keep in touch with them.
Yeah. So anyway, it was great talking to you. I'm going to put some more. I also recommend, and I'm going to share my screen right now, recommend that agents like you included, there are some designations that people can get. For example, an accredited buyer's representative, which is really great. It walks you through some questions that you would never really understand without it. I mean, obviously you have experience and stuff, but insurance questions, like one of the big problems that we're having right now when lumber went insane is if there is an accident in the home, the cost of rebuild is not there anymore. So people don't have enough coverage in their insurance for gap insurance. But being part of an accredited buyer's representative, we're able to, have this great knowledge and this great resource here. So I always recommend it for anybody who works with a lot of buyers to become an ABR, an accredited buyer's representative, because it's the information that they feed you is priceless. So. Okay, I'm going to share this as well. So if you guys have any questions, or if you're a first-time home buyer and you just really are thinking about getting your toes wet into the process, you can check out one of these sites here, whether it's the first-time home buyers class or just why you should use an ABR. It's got this cute little infographic video here that's really nice. But feel free to reach out to Henry. Henry, what's your phone number?
My phone number is 612-578-3893.
Awesome. And mine is 763-607-3226. All right. Have a great day, guys.
Bye, guys.